Earlier, I spoke to Zain Muhyiddin of the New Generation Mindset, and he explained to us how emerging companies could be partnered with established companies. Small businesses and entrepreneurs are the backbone of the economy. They create jobs, drive innovation, productivity, and economic growth. But statistics reveal that just about 70% of businesses fail within the first year of their establishment. Entrepreneurs that are starting out and small businesses need support and guidance to survive and reach their full potential. The New Generation Mindset, a company that knows the value of mentorship and support for SMMEs, has been founded precisely to provide that kind of support. The CEO and founder of NGM, New Generation Mindset, is Zain Muhyiddin. Zaid, pleasure to have you with us here.
Thank you very much, Tom.
Right, and statistics speak for themselves. We know it's not easy when you start a business to get going the first year. It's very difficult, but in the same breath, if we want to create job opportunities in the economy, you've got to support the emerging companies, the small startups. Difficult. And they also need the support of established companies on the other hand.
Yep.
Now, we've got our history in South Africa. It's not been easy. And then we've got policies that are trying to drive this. But from your experience, what's happening in South Africa, given the policies, given the history, given the attitudes of some of the established businesses?
I mean, we've got 5.2 unemployed adults in the country. We've
5.2 million.
5.2 million unemployed adults. Yes. We have SMMEs making up 80% of our business community. We have government coming up with policy trying to stimulate not only transformation, but with regards to entrepreneurship in the country. The problem with all of this is we have lots of duplication, plethora of opportunities, but lots of duplication, confusion for our SMMEs. So within all of that duplication, we're wasting money, resources. So how do we as a country then collaborate with a new mindset of collaboration? That's why we created a company called New Generation Mindset.
Sure.
A mindset of collaboration so that we can actually pull together from public and private sector, look at all the economic actors so that we can make a better difference within our black business communities.
So, you are an example of what can be. Let's talk about your experience, and we'll come back to what's going on in the broader society. Now, what is your company's approach to this?
Our company's approach is, like I just said, is to look at the issues within South African environment. You know, we're making one big mistake where we're going overseas and learning from them. Great, it's good if we learn, but we shouldn't copy and paste everything because we are very unique in South Africa. Our BSM levels, if we talk township economies or we talk rural development, the people, the SMMEs in those areas are all BSM level 1 to 5, which informal sector, informal to formal. And then we have a huge section of 5 to 7, which is the formal sector. So we need to be careful with regards to how we put implementable programs, taking into account policy from government to make sure we can get a good effect into the local economies. And that's really what we've done, is to look at implementable models, taking into account policy and other economic actors so that we can get our black businesses to benefit.
But here's the point, Zaid, which, you know, if you start a business, largely you're on your own, right? Yeah. You're left to the so-called market forces. You've got to find your own. Let's talk about especially informal businesses. Yeah. They've got to figure out how they get their merchandise sold and develop the customer base for themselves. And that explains why they would fail in the first year. Now, to connect them to established businesses so that there's at least repeat business on a consistent basis is very difficult. Yeah. So how do you connect those emerging businesses with established business?
I think what's good about it is that the government has, with regards to, especially from a BBBE policy, you know, the new codes are specifically supportive with regards to enterprise and supply development, which allows a huge opportunity for black entrepreneurs to be capacitated so that they have the right quality to enter into supply chains or value chains of large organizations. In that way, we don't just empower them with competence, but we also make them sure that they can participate in the economy. So we need to make sure that the entrepreneurs, whilst we're giving them the competence and all the capacity building, is to make sure that they make money. Yeah. If you don't participate in the economy, you're not going to create jobs, you're going to lose mental stamina, and then you liquidate, which is counterproductive.
Do you go to established companies and offer your services? And what are those services that you offer established companies?
Yeah, 100%. I think with, you know, companies are very focused with regards to driving profits. and especially with the new codes. You know, before BE with the old codes, it was easy just to give it off in a very philanthropic way and spend it in a very philanthropic way. The new BE codes, which I really support, allows companies to then take guys and spend 3% net profit after tax to empower the right people and to bring them and give them contracts. So within that comes a huge challenge for organizations, because now it's about understanding rural development, understanding government policy, it's understanding and making a more strategic decision about how to do this. It's not a philanthropic one anymore. And that's really what we do as an organization. We specialize on putting together, understanding government policy, looking at the ecosystem of support for entrepreneurs, putting it together so that companies can then take the right companies with the capacity, competence, and confidence to be able to add value within your value chain.
Let's talk about case studies now, examples of what you've been able to achieve so far and that you repeat elsewhere in the country.
I think let's choose Eastern Cape. I think that's where rural development. If I take Johannesburg, it's easier to talk about level 5 to 7, and the level of success is probably higher. But let's look at the more challenging aspects of our country, Eastern Cape, where Eskom has gone into what they do in the public sector, supply development and localization, which is all public enterprises have to comply to. So what we do for Eskom is look at all the large infrastructural projects that's happening within the Eastern Cape, and then make sure we can capacitate the local entrepreneurs so that they can take advantage of the opportunities. Now, in that area, we're talking about people that have been entrepreneurs through the push factor. Okay, little education, little experience. And that's where the challenge is South Africa. It's easy to take and incubate what we call high growth potential clients, BSM 5 to 7, because the propensity to spend is higher, yes, but the chances of success would be there in any case. So our challenge in South Africa is really to look at our BSM levels 1 to 5, where they've been marginalized.
Well, you talk about BSM levels 1 to 5. By the way, not all of us know what that is.
So it's a business sophistication level measurement, you know, that basically allows us to segment all entrepreneurs so that we can assist them and with the right competence and the right strategy for each one. So in the Eastern Cape, we're dealing with lots of low-end SMMEs with little or no confidence, little or no experience, little or no education. So we've had to look at how do we change our methodologies of capacitation, of mentorship. Some of them don't speak English. You know, some of them only speak Xhosa in the Eastern Cape. So that's the unique situation that we're all sitting with, whether it be in Soweto or in the rural areas. We don't speak English. Yes. And so we need to make sure that within South Africa, how do we capacitate those people? And we're glad to say that, you know, one of our rural entrepreneurs actually came third countrywide at the recent South African Incubation Awards. And the established companies, what is their view of your approach, the kind of assistance you've been providing them with, so that at least there's meaning and value that they add in the growth of these emerging companies? Well, I think, you know, I mean, we do it for Samsung, MTN, Dimension Data, ThyssenKrupp, Renlen, so most of the large organizations. And I think it's largely with regards to the attitude of on-take of transformation, number one, as well as with compliance. So where you're getting lots of support from organizations, it's an easier transition, or should I say, a higher propensity to actually be involved from a sincerity perspective. And for you, when did you establish the company? What got you thinking that you should do what you do now? Well, in 2004, I had a company called CBS, and we were doing very well. I was then asked by the wholesale and retail CETA to be a mentor around the new venture creation program. And when I got there, after 6 months, I asked the entrepreneur, so tell me about your business. She said to me, she's opening up a bakery. I said, where is it? It's going to be at my mother's place. My boyfriend's going to do the logistics and the equipment. I'm going to use my mother's oven. Now, this is after we've spent so much money as South Africa through our CETA new venture creation programs, with an entrepreneur still thinking so wrongly. Yeah. So we then changed the methodology and saying, how do we then contribute to South Africa in changing, how do we get mentorship going from the very beginning so that we can have, number one, make sure that the strategic mindset is right, put in the competence, and then also largely the confidence. We have so many programs in South Africa that's focusing on competence, basic financial for non-financial managers, all of those things.
Yes.
But no confidence to be able to go and sell. If you don't have the confidence or the purpose mastery, we've also been privileged enough to do some large incubation for some of the equity co-loan programs. And it's proven that even though you give an entrepreneur money, if there's no purpose mastery, you will also fail. So, you know, there's a combination of factors that will make entrepreneurs successful.
Well, for those who are interested in finding out more about your company, where can they get in touch with you, or where can they find you?
Well, it's easy. They can contact us on our website, you know, at www.ngmindset.co.za, or just simply email info@ngmindset.co.za. And, you know, I would encourage the people to apply online. We have quite a few interesting and innovative programs, and they can or contact us, I think.
This is the founder and CEO of NGM, Zaid Moideen. Thank you very much for having been our guest. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And we continue with the show in a moment.